Hey Eagle fans, I'm Thomas Mott. Before we start today's video covering the latest Eagle news and rumors, if you're new to the channel, go ahead and subscribe. Big red subscribe button down below because this is what we do almost every single day. It is non-stop, free coverage of the Philadelphia Eagles. We break down news, rumors, trades, signings, everything you could possibly hope for. It's all here on this channel, so go ahead and subscribe. All right, so today, as we normally do, we get into the Eagles news and rumors. There's some stuff going on in Philadelphia that we need to, of course, let you guys know as fans wanting the news and the rumors. So let's start with this, not starting Jordan Mailata. Now, this is something I've talked about a little bit here on the channel, but I was hoping this week we would get news that they were going to go ahead and put Mailata back at left tackle and then either just rest Jason Peters or bench Jason Peters, and then, of course, hope Lane Johnson comes back on the right side as well. But apparently, Mailata is back to the bench as Jason Peters and Lane Johnson are both supposed to play and be healthy. Remember, last week, Peters did not play. Johnson did not play. Peters was in and out of the football game, like, every single week because Jason Peters always gets injured. And so, here we are. Mailata shows flashes of not stardom, but he played pretty well for being, the former rugby player. The Aussie comes over learning football, and now he's back on the bench. Honestly, I would start Mailata over Jason Peters today. Like, even though Jason Peters is getting paid like a left tackle, I think Mailata has a lot more upside. Now, if you want to talk about understanding the position, the strength goes to, of course, Jason Peters. But if you talk about overall brute strength and future potential, it has to go over to Jordan Mailata. Here was Mailata asked about this earlier this week in terms of, are you going to start? Are you going to play? Are you going to get reps? He said, quote, "I honestly have no idea. Just like last week, I'm taking the same approach. Just going to do whatever it takes to do whatever the team needs me to do, whether it's coming off the bench or being the extra tight end on those packages. So we'll just have to wait and see. It's the team first." So a good answer. I mean, obviously, Mailata's a good team player. He's not going to be all, poo-poo, I'm not starting at left tackle. But I still think that even though Peters is fully capable of being a left tackle and probably a little more wise in terms of understanding blitzes and understanding individual pass rushers, I think Mailata played well enough to earn a shot at being the starting left tackle for the rest of the year. And I think he's a lot more explosive in run support because he can not only shed, whatever defensive end is in front of him, but get out in front in space. Something Peters used to be able to do, but at 37, 38 years old, really is completely unable to. Now, you're asking me who has been better statistically at left tackle. It's very much up in the air. Remember, Mailata was in for some of the games you see on your screen right now. Peters was in for some of the games. And honestly, the Eagles' offensive line has been giving up a ton of sacks regardless. Carson Wentz, the most sacked quarterback in the National Football League, although as we've talked about, a lot of those sacks aren't really pass rush sacks, they're more coverage sacks because receivers aren't getting open and Wentz is holding the football just too long. This is nothing against Jason Peters. I think Jason Peters is a first ballot Hall of Famer. I mean, maybe all-pro. I mean, he's fantastic in every single way. But at his age and how injured he gets seemingly from play to play to possession to possession, I would rather have a solid rock like Mailata there on the left side to hopefully kind of bolster that run game at least a little bit with potentially the return of their star running back in Miles Sanders. I'm curious what you guys think about this. Left tackle is not the sexy position. It's not the injury update we'll give you guys coming up here in about a minute. But still, who should start at left tackle? Would you go for Peters or Mailata based on what you've seen this year? Let me know down below. Okay, talk about injury report. I mentioned I would give you the latest injury report, and here it is. It's good. I mean, this is something we talked about earlier this week, potentially being good, and officially looks like the Eagles are going to be as healthy as they have been pretty much the entire year. I mean, they're getting some key weapons back. The offensive line is potentially going to get healthier going forward with, Peters coming back and obviously Lane Johnson and Isaiah Malo being activated. But right now, of the key injuries who were on the Eagles injury report, the majority of them are going to play. Remember, Malik Jackson has that quad injury, didn't play last week. He was limited. He should go. Lane Johnson has that ankle injury, didn't play last week. He should be able to go. Peters, like we said, should be able to go. Miles Sanders, limited, even though we mentioned earlier this week he is going to play. Coming off that knee injury, missed the past couple of games. He is definitely going to play based on everything that I have heard. And of course, Alshon Jeffery, look at that. Full. He was a full participant in practice, meaning Philadelphia might be getting back their top two offensive weapons. Now, obviously, Miles Sanders is the top offensive weapon. The question is still out there if Jeffery is going to remain as one of the top offensive weapons. But either way, this is very exciting news for everyone, including Carson Wentz, who gets these two guys back. I'm curious who you guys are more excited to see, though. Is Sanders or Jeffery? I'm torn because Sanders, to me, is the best offensive weapon Philadelphia has right now with Zach Ertz out. He's just so explosive. I mean, he is a heavy hitter. Last time we saw him, obviously a beast against the Steelers, but Alshon Jeffery, last time we saw him, we'll talk about it in a second, I mean, he was really good a long time ago, but if he can be back to his former self, I mean, that's a big target for Carson Wentz to rely upon in the red zone and also on third down. I mentioned Sanders and how he's played out this year. He's played in 5 games, but hasn't played in a full 5 games. Steve, of course, got injured in some of these games. But honestly, he's been up and down. So he was great against Baltimore in the loss. He was good early against the Steelers, had that big run, and then got hurt, didn't do much. Niners, nothing. Bengals, he was good, but again, I think he can have a little bit more there. And then the Rams in a loss was really good early and then kind of cooled off once the Rams got a lead. So Sanders coming back is going to provide a spark. Boston Scott, we've talked about, very, very admirable job filling in. I mean, caught the touchdown pass, the game winner. I mean, that was huge. But in terms of the better overall running back, is clearly Miles Sanders. And the Eagles' next 4 opponents, look at that. The run defense, not that great. I mean, the Giants are 18th. The Browns are 19th. The Seahawks are 21st. Packers are 29th. I mean, the hope for Philadelphia right now, you get healthy, and then you're able to run the football. You take pressure off of Carson Wentz and create some play-action deep throws across the middle to hopefully Jalen Reagor and obviously Alshon Jeffery and some of the other young Eagle receivers Travis Fulgham, who have blossomed in the absences of the other star receivers who have obviously all been out. So it's good news overall in terms of the running game. When it comes to Alshon Jeffery, I've hated on Alshon Jeffery a lot. I've called out Alshon Jeffery. I mean, the whole locker room issues was a whole deal last year. He hasn't been able to stay healthy. I mean, he's been a mess. But you got to remember, last time we saw him play a full game, I'm talking about the full game because he played one more game after the Dolphins game was on December 1st of last year. But the Dolphins game was his final full game in Philadelphia, so it's almost been a calendar year. He balled out. How about Carson Wentz loving this guy? 16 targets. Now, only had 9 catches, but still a $137 and a touchdown. If Jeffery is 100% healthy, and there are conflicting reports on if he's going to be on a pitch count on Sunday, 18 to 20 snaps, whatever that looks like, but it's very obvious that Carson Wentz likes him and will throw him the football whenever he is out there and healthy. And the fact he's going to play on Sunday is huge news, and that's something we got to obviously talk about here on Philadelphia Eagles Now. I think Philadelphia looks really good, has a real good chance of beating the Giants. Now, obviously, the Eagles this year, it's not guaranteed because, the Eagles have looked good and had good chances against, the Bengals and weren't able to win that football game. But I feel very, very confident in this. Currently, the Eagles are 3.5-point favorites. The over-under sits at 44.5. I bet that shifts a little more in the Eagles' favor as we get closer to Sunday. Okay, I'm so confident on this, and I talked about this earlier this week. I'm willing to put my money where my mouth is, as they say. So let's just say you guys want to go ahead and bet on this game. Well, you should do it with our friends at BetUS. First off, go to chatsports.com/EagleBet. Use the promo code Eagles125 to get a 125% deposit bonus whenever you first sign up with our friends at BetUS. But basically what you do is if you want to bet on the Eagles to cover against the Giants and you put down up to $50 on that, I will cover the loss of money that you have if the Eagles do not cover. So let me just say this again. If you want to do this bet, email us at eagles@chatsports.com, obviously, detailing us what your bet actually is. And if your bet is, let's say, $30 on the Eagles to cover and the Eagles don't cover, we will Venmo you the $30 to make up for your loss, again, up to $50. So this is like a win-win because if the Eagles do cover, then you're going to win money anyway. And if the Eagles don't cover, again, up to $50, we're going to go ahead and cover it. So chatsports.com/EagleBet is the place to go. Use the promo code Eagles125. And then, of course, email us your bet at eagles@chatsports.com. I'm telling you, if you've been kind of on the fence getting in on the whole betting scenario here, this feels like a good game and a win-win situation for you to go ahead and bet on Philadelphia. Final bit of news here, final little conversation we need to have is about the Carson Wentz's turnover trouble. Now, we talked earlier this week about Brett Favre's comments. That led to Doug Peterson getting asked a lot of questions. I mean, the whole entire Eagle media has been focused on Carson Wentz's struggles, not only this year, but really this week. And it's understandable because he leads the league in turnovers and he's making 2 to 3 really bad decisions a game. It's more than that, but like back-breaking decisions, 2 or 3 of them, sacks, fumbles, interceptions, they've just been killing Philadelphia. I still believe, 1, in Carson Wentz, which you guys know, obviously, here on the channel. 2, if he can just stop making dumb decisions, throw the ball away, don't take a sack, take a small play versus a chunk play that leads to an interception. The Eagles can clean things up and start to roll. I think if he gets one mistake-free game, if he gets mistake-free against the Giants, off and running. He's going to go ahead and start rolling. And honestly, Eagles quarterback coach Press Taylor feels the exact same way. He was asked about this in his press conference this week and said, quote, "It's something we're very confident that he'll be able to clean up as we go into these next 8 games, the second half of the season. He is very aware of that. It's not what we expect around here." And obviously, Carson Wentz is aware that his play has been below average. And everyone is, ripping on Carson Wentz and hating on Carson Wentz. And yes, has he had poor offensive line play? Yes. Has he missed all of his key targets? Yes. But now, the offensive line is getting shored up a little bit. The targets are coming back. The excuses for Carson Wentz are getting less and less. And I honestly think he's going to step up to the challenge, much like he did last year. Go on a roll here, go on a little run, and get Philadelphia into the postseason. Now, ESPN had a whole quarterback review article they posted a couple of days ago, and they mentioned who was the worst quarterback so far, the biggest disappointment. They said Carson Wentz, and here's your quote on that. Quote, Wentz's average turnover has cost them minus 3.5 points. Expected points added, the 12th lowest among 38 players who've committed at least 3 turnovers this season. In other words, this could all have been much worse. And so they're kind of explaining how the numbers show that while Carson Wentz turns the ball over a lot, it doesn't always break the back of Philadelphia, but it has, and that's why he's 12th lowest among 38 players. Carson Wentz does lead the league in interceptions. He leads the league in fumbles as well, sitting there currently at 12. But you will notice, if he can just not throw a lot of more interceptions going forward, he will hopefully finish for less than 17. And even though it's way higher than what he did, 2018, 2019, I still think that he can go on a little bit of a run here, get things figured out, and it's mainly because he's going to have a good offensive line in front of him, hopefully. Obviously, Miles Sanders coming back, that's going to provide a massive boost for Philadelphia. You want to know why they were able to win 4 in a row to win the division last year? It was mainly Miles Sanders. Now, Wentz was good. I mean, he was really good, but Miles Sanders was lights out. You talk about the Washington football game last year on the road, week, 14, 15, whatever it was. I mean, Sanders had like a $150 total yards from scrimmage. So, again, the hope is no more turnovers. If you guys agree with this, drop a like right now to wish Carson Wentz to have no more turnovers. Now, he's going to turn the ball over. And obviously, again, the way Carson Wentz plays, he's a gunslinger. He likes to take risks, and a lot of times it pays off. But this year, it hasn't paid off as much. But I do think with where the Eagles are currently sitting, with the schedule that is in front of them, the Giants coming to town on Sunday, if they are able to go on a little run here and Carson Wentz plays mistake-free football, they can win the division and be a lot more scary than people have them right now, because most people, I think, would predict the Eagles to lose in the first round regardless of who they were going to go ahead and play. So like the video for Carson Wentz hopefully having no more turnovers. There you go. All the time we have for today on Philadelphia Eagles. Now, again, want to jump in here with my thoughts on the Eagles this week as we get closer and closer to a divisional Sunday matchup against the New York Football Giants, which if they lose, it's not the end of the world, but if they win 4-1, it goes a long way to winning the NFC East, as a lot of people are predicting them to do. Again, Thomas Mott here on Philadelphia Eagles Now. I appreciate each and every one of you. Hope you guys stay safe and enjoy the rest of your Thursday, as we go ahead and sign off again. I'll see you guys tomorrow for another video. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day.